Let's see if I can hit my daily profit goal of $1,000. So on the right here is TradingView because it's simply the best for markups and analysis. Top left is my private team's trading journal that anybody can get access to completely for free. Here's my stats for January so far, and you guys can watch all these trading sessions on my YouTube channel as well. On the bottom right is my CFD broker, Fusion Markets, regulated live account, not demo, so you guys can see my actual live P&L here as well. And the first thing I do every single morning is I actually go through my watch list here with all these markets, do a top-down analysis on the daily, and go down and see if I can find any trade ideas for you guys. So New York Open for me is 7:30 a.m., so it's 2 hours beyond that. I usually start trading around like sometimes 8 a.m., but more realistically, I trade between like 9 to like 11 a.m., so like a few hours beyond New York Open, just because I think that's when I'm most profitable, obviously, but also there's less volatility, there's not a lot of chop, so it's more predictable. And a lot of the times people that day trade, they go on like the 1 minute and they try to like scalp things. But sometimes with the volatility of trading near New York Open, they'll get spiked out even though they get their analysis correct. So I'd much rather wait for that chop and that spiking to die down a bit before I start trading. But anyways, so let's break down US 30 here first, and then we will just go on from there. So if you guys want to know how I trade specifically, I broke it down all completely for free on my YouTube channel in my trading course. And also you guys can go on the dashboard for free as well and learn it here as well. But pretty much on US 30 anyways, we've been sort of floating around this key consolidation zone. This would be the bottom of it. This would be the top of it, you could say. But more realistically, this is the one we were trading in before, but now we're in this one down here. So this is the bottom of it, this is the top of it, so we'll drag this over. And per my entry model in key consolidation zones, the most probable things when price is trading above the bottom of it is that it'll bounce up and continue pushing up. So on the 1 hour, that's more apparent that my entry model is kind of looking like it's doing it on the regular entry here. So this would be the first test, coming back down for another retest. Now it's showing signs of rejections back up. So we would just be looking for it to show signs of it pushing up off the smaller time frames, which it kind of does look like it is going to. So if we get a couple green candle closes here on US 30, I'm actually going to take longs, and I'm going to be aiming for it to take advantage of these little waves that it's been creating for us. I'm going to have a pretty aggressive stop just because we are in an overall downtrend if I do end up taking this. So usually to be conservative, you want to put your stop below the most significant support, which would be there. But since like I said, I don't want to get stuck in this trade, especially if we're just chopping around now for the rest of the session. So I'd much rather get stopped out quick and be able to look for another opportunity in another market than wait for it to do or chop around and then eventually stop me out later, rather than stopping me out now. Because I'm just looking for a quick impulsive move like it did previously off of this level, like these waves right here. So I'm just looking for another push up that I can take advantage of on US 30. So moving on, I will check out my favorite market, Euro USD. So we are having a massive rejection off of this macro daily support level right here, clearly. The next thing I'd be waiting for is for it to show some kind of rejections off of this one right here that I've marked out previously. So on the 1 hour, we're clearly breaking above it. So there's no signs of it slowing down on this buying pressure, but we can also take trades off of that as well. So if it comes back down and then starts to show signs of rejections to the upside after it comes down, then we can take buys. But for the time being, I'm not interested in trading this. I could be interested in taking a FOMO rejection entry right now, something like that. But I think since we have a bunch of buying pressure, the FOMO entry is another entry in my entry model that you guys can all learn completely for free. I'd be looking for it to do something like this, like it did prior, how it broke up above it and then it tanked back down. So if this candle closes in 3 minutes, I might actually take that, but it is risky since we do have a lot of buying pressure overall for the day. Moving on to crypto markets, the thing that I've been primarily trading and getting like these big trading days, like the 9K and 6K, I've been trading Solana and Bitcoin for that. So obviously macro time frame, we rejected off of this big macro daily support, and I lost this investor trade for like $70,000, even though at one point it was up $100,000. So I probably should have closed it then. But either way, this is a macro daily support level down here, and we're showing signs of rejections clearly from this wick. So I'd be looking to get in on the buying pressure, but looks like we're just consolidating. Like this is very weird price action, especially for like a crypto. So like I don't know if I would even want to get in on this until we break above this level and then start to show signs of something like this. Come back down for a flag, and then I would enter longs on that flag. But like I said, this is a really weird price action for Solana to begin with. So I don't know if I'd be even interested in trading this until we either spike above this level right here. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave an alert like right here, and we'll see what happens. Bitcoin is usually reflective of all the crypto markets. So whatever Bitcoin's doing, usually all the other crypto markets are following suit. So obviously it's tanking. So Solana's tanking as well. We're showing signs of rejections off of a flag level on the daily time frame, just like Solana. So we'd be looking to join in on that momentum as well. But since we are trading below this macro daily support level, this big blue box right here, it is probable that we come up for a touch of it and then continue falling down. And right now we are floating around this 1 hour support level right here that I've marked out. And obviously price has been consolidating around it, trying to figure out where it's going to go. So this is like a risky place to be taking trades as well, because we don't know where it's going yet, really. If I personally think it's probably going to retrace a bit and then continue falling, but we just don't know how far it's going to continue going up or if it's going to continue dropping right now. But since we haven't had any candle closes above these 5-minute resistance levels as well, it's kind of risky to get in on this. Nonetheless, moving on, cable, all the price action today looks pretty terrible. Cable is usually reflective of Euro USD. So obviously we had a big green day, Euro USD, we have the same thing. So on the 1 hour, I'd be looking for rejections off of this big support level right here. And clearly we're getting it off this wick right here on the 1 hour. So I bet maybe my entry model even played to fruition on the 5-minute. No, it didn't. So this would be like the FOMO entry. If we get another 5-minute candle close here, I could take a FOMO entry off of the first initial rejection off of this top level, looking for it to drop down, spike, flag down, have some kind of reaction, and then I would be playing off of that. USD CAD, having a big tank sesh off of the top here. So last week, I did call out the FOMO trade here, and obviously it would have played out exactly to my entry model. After this candle close, I said you could take the FOMO entry off the initial reaction and you could aim for the midway point of the key consolidation zone or the bottom of it. Clearly it would have hit both take profits. Nonetheless, since we are at the bottom of this key consolidation zone and we actually are showing my breakout entry right now on USD CAD. So we broke out of this key consolidation zone. And what does price love to come back and do when it breaks out? If you guys have seen my course, it comes back for a retest and then it's starting to show signs of rejections back down. So we could actually enter shorts here looking for a breakout of this 1 hour daily key consolidation zone right here. So that's interesting. I might take that. But the thing I said I am most interested in is probably, honestly, the US 30 trade. Everything else looks terrible. Like, honestly, every single market kind of looks terrible to trade right now, especially since we missed the overall move for the day so far. So like even during open right here, there wasn't even much volatility. So there was more volatility during New York Open on US 30, but we did get 2 candle closes green here, so I might as well force some kind of trade for you guys. I'm going to take a pretty sizable position just because I think we're just going to be like doing like these little 5-minute consolidation waves. So I'm going to take a pretty large position so that if we do end up pushing up, I can actually make some kind of profit rather than just making like barely any. So I'm entered in a trade. I'm just aiming for it to fill to the top, the most recent highs, and my stops are pretty aggressive below the most recent lows here. So you guys can see the position here. And it looks something like this. Just aiming for it to fill that. My stops are below the most recent lows. So it's pretty aggressive, especially since we're kind of consolidating now. So I could easily get wicked out off of these little waves. But I think since we are starting to show some kind of rejection now, we might get another wave that could spike me up into profit, and I could get in for a couple $1,000 exit, hopefully, especially if we break above these highs right here. That would be ideal. So this is the fun part. We kind of just sit back and relax and wait to see what's happening. I do really want to take a Bitcoin trade. Honestly, it's looking like we are getting a FOMO entry off of this 5-minute key consolidation zone. So we're getting 2 red candle closes here, but we are in an overall buying market, so it's kind of risky to take that. I'd be looking for it to have a little spike down. So maybe I should take that as well. But we have yet, I don't know, it's super risky to take because like I said, I think overall we have a lot of buying pressure right now. So I think it's going to spike up. Even if we are in an overall downtrend on the higher time frames, I think it's still going to spike up before it continues falling. So it is super risky to take this, especially since, like I said, I'm long bias on the higher time frames, and we don't know if it's going to come back down for another flag before it starts to push up. And obviously, I'd be trying to take advantage of that little flag if it does happen before it pushes up. So in the next 20, I actually might take this, just risk it for the biscuit, because I'm not that confident in any trade ideas right now. Just because price action isn't lining up to any sort of kind of entry model or to my entry model anyways. So this is me just kind of forcing trades at the moment, but sometimes you got to do that because like you guys can clearly see I broke down every single market and it all looks fucking terrible kind of. Solana's pushing up. Solana's been kind of shitty. You know what? I might say F it, and I might take a very risky trade and just have my stops super tight on this Bitcoin sell. But I kind of want to see what this candle does. Because if this candle breaks above the highs here, then it kind of invalidates the FOMO entry. So we will see if this wants to create new highs or not. Which it kind of looks like it is. It kind of looks like it's creating my entry model for a breakout right here. So this would be the breakout coming back down for a retest. Now it's going to shoot back up. I think I should flip my bias since I am overall long bias. So if we get a candle close above this high off this next 5-minute candle, I might actually go long here with yet again a super tight stop loss. Just because I think it is risky to overall be trading any market right now, just because none of it's kind of lining up to my entry model. So it would just be me overall trying to gain in on this momentum here, especially since we are in an overall downtrend. So if we get a candle close above this most recent high, I'm actually going to flip my overall bias just because it looks like on the smaller time frames that we are doing my entry model coming back down it breaks out of this little key consolidation zone, coming back down for a retest, and now it's showing signs of rejections back up. But just for further confirmation, I want to see it create new highs here. And if it doesn't, then it might be coming back down for a flag. So it's possible I take either the long or the sell, dependent on what these next couple 5-minute candle closes do. The US 30 trade is kind of going into a little bit of profit, but we are kind of just floating around entry, and I don't think there's going to be that much volatility, especially since it's like a couple hours after New York open on US 30. So I'm just hoping that we get a quick impulsive move up to at least here, so I can exit with at least like maybe $1,000 on that. And since I am trading live, like I'll just cut the trade. I always say this in all of my live trading videos, but like I don't give a fuck about stats. Like you guys can see my stats for the month so far. And clearly like that's me. This is me not giving a fuck. This is me closing trades. Not to full take profit. I'm always closing trades or getting stopped out with a trailing stop before my trades actually hit full take profit, because I would much rather have profits locked in than say I have the best stats. Because at the end of the day, since I'm trading live capital on a regulated broker, I could withdraw the money and have it in my crypto account within 30 minutes. And I care more about locking in profits than saying I have the best RR or win rate. So let's see what's going on with US 30. It might be coming back down to wick me out, which would be unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're starting to get a rejection to the downside now. That candle flipped. So it's possible that this is a selling area, which I'd be very interested in taking. Obviously, it looks like we're getting a lot of selling pressure. So if this candle closes inside this little blue box again, especially if it closes right here, I'd be interested in taking a sell. So I think it's going to start selling off. So I'm actually going to sell Bitcoin with a pretty tight stop loss. It's getting away from me because usually crypto moves pretty quick once it picks a direction. So I want to enter this position pretty quick, but I just want to make sure I'm not risking like $10,000 to get spiked out like that. Okay, so I sold Bitcoin. There is a spread on it, so I'm immediately going to be in drawdown. I'm just aiming for it to fill to the most recent lows here. And hopefully I picked the right direction for it. So we'll delete that. My position is looking something like this, aiming for it to fill down there. And we will see if this is the flag before it continues the buying pressure again. Hopefully it does push down into a bit of profit, and then we'll just trail it, I think. So I'll set up my trading view here so we can see both positions. So here's the US 30 trade on the right here, and then the Bitcoin trades on the left here. And we're kind of just going to sit back, relax, and see what happens. And if I end up managing the trade while it's going, I will be sure to give you guys updates. And I just set up my alerts so that I know if we're going to hit my stop loss or if we're going to go into profit, so I can manage it more aggressively. So right now, and like I said on Bitcoin, I think this is the Bitcoin trade, there is a spread for Fusion Market. So this ask line, this gray line. So even if we do spike up to the top of these wicks here again, the ask line will get hit. The ask line will hit the stop loss and take me out, even though market's not at my stop loss. So you guys got to take that in consideration if you have a spread like this for whatever broker you're trading with. But for the time being, I think I want at least a little bit of a flag down like this before it starts to push down, and that's what I'm trying to take advantage of. We will see what happens over the course of the next 10 minutes. So it looks like Bitcoin is actually assuming the uptrend now. which is unfortunate because we're probably going to get stopped out here. And I risked $3,000 on this trade. So the probability of me recouping that, especially from this US 30 trade, if it plays out, is pretty low. So this just goes to show you that you guys probably shouldn't be trading if market isn't playing, or if price action isn't playing out to your guys' strategies. I'm just going to give my stop loss a bit more room just for this ask line, just in case it does want to spike up here so I don't get taken out if it does want to push back down. Well, there we go. We got spiked out off the Bitcoin trade. So I'm actually going to flip my bias on the Bitcoin trade. I'm going to say that it's going to continue breaking up. So I'm just going to buy it right now and then put my stops below the most recent high. So I bought it and I'm just going to be aiming for new highs, I guess. I'll just actively manage it. So my stops on this one are below the most recent lows. So now my trade is looking something like, off on the Bitcoin, it's looking something like this now. And then I'm just aiming for it to fill somewhere in this price area right here. But we just don't know where it's going to go to. So I'm going to be actively managing it. And hopefully my original bias of me being long was correct, and I timed the correct spot now that it's actually starting to break above. So realistically, I probably should have waited for this to happen rather than trying to trade this chop here. But nonetheless, we will see what happens. For the time being, I am currently down $3,700. So we need at least that to go back to break even. So hopefully this Bitcoin trade will get us there. And honestly, I probably am going to get spiked out of this trade on the US 30 just because it's literally not moving at all. So if we do get a little bit of a push up on the US 30 trade, I might just cut it and then we'll just hope for the best, hope for Bitcoin to save us and get us out of the hole here. Otherwise, this will be like my first red day of the month. But we'll see what happens over the course of the next 10 minutes here. So we might be getting spiked out here on Bitcoin, but if this candle holds above this level I marked out right here previously, which it doesn't look like it is, it looks like it's going to break through it right now. But if it does hold and it flips and goes green, it's looking more favorable that it's going to continue pushing up into our initial analysis. But the thing is, a lot of selling pressure right now, especially since there's a top wick right here from previous highs that we are rejecting off of. So realistically, I probably should have been waiting for this to see what happens at this level. And since we are rejecting off of it right now, and we're going to get stopped out right now again, it's probably a good thing, or probably would have been a smart thing for me to wait for it to at least break above these highs before taking a trade. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just got to take trades and see what happens. But I'm a firm believer that I probably shouldn't even been trading today, but I like to see if I can milk a little something out of the markets, even on days where I don't think I'll be able to, which was today. Because even when I was breaking down top-down analysis of all the markets, I even said like the price action today is terrible and not to my entry model. So if we do get spiked out here on both of these trades, obviously that's going to show you guys that if price action isn't lining up to how you should be trading, you should just stay out like I probably should have done today. But content reasons, sometimes you got to take trades, right? So if we actually start rejecting off of this level here and start getting green candle closes above this little 1 minute key consolidation zone, it'll look healthy for us. But I think either way, we might get spiked out here on this Bitcoin trade. My stop loss is like right below here, so we'll see what happens. So we're starting to get a little bit of a push up now on US 30, but nonetheless, the Bitcoin trade looks like it's going to spike us out. unless this 5-minute candle closes green, and then that starts the buying pressure again that we previously seen. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking overall analysis for going long is correct, but we might just be taking the position at the incorrect time. Like we probably should have been taking it now. Would have been the most correct, because then our stop loss could have been down here and we could be pushing up. But if this candle flips red, we're going to get stopped out 100%. So this will probably be the deciding 5-minute candle to see if we stay in this Bitcoin trade and if it keeps us alive, or if it continues dropping and pushes back into this little key consolidation zone that it loves so much right now. But we are starting to break on US 30, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So after this candle closes in 2 minutes, I'm going to be trailing my stop on the US 30 trade, and we will see if we can recoup some of the loss from the Bitcoin trades. So we are starting to get a bit of a bounce on the Bitcoin trade now as well, which is good, especially since we're kind of getting candle closes above these 1-minute structures. So hopefully it actually starts pushing into our favor now. But like I said, I think overall long bias on Bitcoin was correct, but we just timed the entry wrong for it. Like we should have waited for a more clear example of it coming back for a retest and showing signs of rejection. So realistically, we probably should have been entering now, like what I said for going long. So we got a 5-minute green candle close above these little structures here, which gives me hope that we might get a little bit of a bounce here on Bitcoin. And the next area of interest would be just breaking the most recent highs. So we will see if that happens. And obviously, I'm going to trail my stop on US 30 because I don't really want to be in the US 30 trade anymore. So I'm going to trail my stop on it, and I'm going to lock in $600 at the very least. And that kind of looks something like this. So I eliminated risk, and my trailed stop is now right below these 5-minute candles right here, or 5-minute resistance support level right here. So especially since we are pushing up and we did get a 5-minute candle close above this area on US 30, if we start using this area as support now, it gives us more indication that it's going to continue pushing up, then come back down. But it is starting to fall down. We'll just need to see if it uses this area as support now. And my trailed stop is below that, so we have a safety net of this little 5-minute support resistance level now. And hopefully we keep on pushing up on Bitcoin as well. And then hopefully this starts raging up into our original analysis. And then we can close green for the day. But it looks like we're going to get stopped out on US 30 here, because it is floating right close to the stop loss. So this would be like the turning point for US 30 if it wants to. Otherwise, it's going to stop us out. So our trailing stop was hit on the US 30 trade for $600 profit. I'm okay with that because I didn't really want to be in it anymore. So let's just wait to see what happens with this Bitcoin trade to see if we can close green or not for the day, or at least recoup some of our losses from the original Bitcoin sell. Right now we are down $3,000. So we need to close over $3,000 to close green, or at least recoup some of their losses. But it looks like we are getting some kind of buying pressure, and hopefully it's enough to break above these highs. Hopefully it's enough to break above these highs overall and continue pushing up somewhere in this price area for our exit. And then hopefully that puts us in the green for the day. So we're starting to get a bit of a push down now. If this candle closes red, the probability of it coming down to spike us out is pretty high. But we will see if we get another rejection off of this area. And it's possible that this is if we do get another reaction to the top side here, that this would be the buying pressure we need to actually be able to break above these highs right here. But we will see. There's a bit of chop. Price action ain't that good today, like I said. So I probably shouldn't have even been trading today. So we will see if we get stopped out on this trade or not. Let's check out the US 30 trade. So the US 30 trade hit our trailing stop, and I would be healthy in profit right now, which is kind of unfortunate. But overall, I wasn't really confident in any of the trades I've taken today, but especially the US 30 trade, just because we are so late into the session and we've kind of just been chopping around now. So I'm happy that I got stopped out for $600 there. But I was really hoping that we would get this reaction on the Bitcoin trade, like an impulsive move up. But so far, we're just getting impulsive moves down, and it looks like we're about to get stopped out right now. So we're kind of just consolidating now. Nothing's really happening. So if price decides to push up eventually off of this area, it'll probably happen in the next little bit here. But it seems like kind of like all movement has absolutely died after these little waves off the top here. But either way, we are still holding above, which is a good sign for us. But the thing is, like, there's like not really much movement going on. And clearly, there's not even much movement going on US 30 anymore. So volatility has completely died. And like I said, PA has been pretty terrible for when I got on anyways, because obviously most things are consolidating since New York Open, as you guys can see. So I probably shouldn't, like I keep on saying this, but I shouldn't have even been trading today. So we will see if this wants to push up one last time. And then maybe even if we get back up to break even, like I'll put an alert here. I might even just cut the trade, but we will see what happens, because this is terrible. It's not even moving. At least stop me out if you're going to. Don't just flow or like hold like that for like 10 minutes before finding a direction. But hopefully, if we do end up getting some buying pressure off the top here, which it looks like we might be, hopefully it's enough to at least push us back into profit. And then hopefully if that happens, it'll be enough to break above these highs and continue pushing up. Hopefully this is the buying pressure I've been waiting for. I just hope that we're not assuming a little downtrend now, and then this is just a little flag up, then it's going to continue pushing up. So hopefully we get breaks and candle closes above this recent 5-minute support that we've been kind of playing off of. And like I said, hopefully it does something like this for us, and it continues pushing up with the buying pressure that it kind of has seemed to have found a little bit of it. But we'll see if we even get candle breaks above this area right here, and if it'll continue up with the buying pressure overall. So the Bitcoin trade hit stop loss. I'm going to journal all the trades, and then I might cut the session just because PA is pretty terrible right now. And there's nothing really going on to my entry model anyways. Bitcoin still might have a bit of a push up, but overall, like I said, there's not much volatility and everything. It's just not looking too hot for me to be placing any other trades. Obviously, I probably should have still been holding the US 30 trade, but either way, we'd still only be up like $1,000 right now. So it's not really worth it, I suppose. The main markets I've been focusing on are the Bitcoin and the Solana one because of how volatile they are usually. But for some reason today, they've kind of been chopping sideways. And I think that's also the main reason why that we kind of just chopped around for like the longest time in this area instead of picking a direction. So that's unfortunate, but I'm going to journal these trades. Okay, so here are the trades for the day. The first one with this US 30 trade, which clearly would still be in profit, but still like no volatility for the day. We got stopped out on a trailing stop for $600. And then the two losing trades were these Bitcoin trades, where this first one was the FOMO entry off of this initial rejection right here. It's a little messy. Right here, off of this rejection right here, off of this top of this little 5-minute key consolidation zone. And this just goes to show you that like when you're trading 5-minute structures, they don't really hold any merit to the overall time frame. So like I said, price action wasn't that good today. And it looks like it's starting to come back down now. Like it's just chopping around. It's not really that good. And like all cryptos are in this little weird consolidation zone after tanking. So like even Solana is assuming that as well, just moving sideways. So like PA today wasn't good and I should have stayed out. And then when we had this impulse to move up, I thought maybe this would be the turning point of the buying pressure that would continue pushing up and fill this imbalance right here to the left. But clearly that didn't play out as well. Like I said, just bad volatility and price action for the day. So overall, just should have stayed out. Both of those trades amounted to a big loss for the day so far of $9,800. 3 trades, 1 loss, 1 win, 2 losses. So the next thing I'd be waiting for is any signs of volatility on crypto markets, because I am not going to be trading any of these. And it's possible that I take a trade to the top side again if one of these alerts gets hit again. But we will see if that happens. If not, that's pretty much the trading session. And I hope you guys like this type of video. I don't win every single time. This is my first time losing this month. And second for the past 2 months, which is pretty crazy if I don't end up finding something later today. But even like if I were to try to trade this drop right here, I can guarantee you it'll be super choppy and I'll probably get like spiked out again. So I think that might be it for the session for the day. If you guys like this type of video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment, baby.